The way I see it, there are two ingredients to every story, every sequence, every song, every sexy time, every heartbeat, every episode, and every breakdown. There's tension. And then there's release. My journey with Bipolar has been a pretty wild ride. Woo! But everybody's experience is different. We are all wired differently. But I want to take you back to a very tense and confusing time for me. My first manic episode, back in 2008. This was the summer I turned 18, and everything was in flux. An abrupt breakup.
I don't think staying together makes sense.
A falling out with my high school friends, when I thought they really had my back. And a ton of swirling questions. Was I not good enough for my girlfriend? Did my friends ever really like me? Am I even ready for film school? Yes, I got smacked by a classic case of fear of the unknown, and I found myself tense, anxious, and unable to sleep at night. My thoughts started to get really rapid and strange. Sometimes I would feel extremely grandiose. Am I the center of a huge show? Other times I would feel extremely paranoid. Okay, that dude's dad is definitely in the CIA. And whenever I could, I was smoking weed. I was a counselor at a summer camp at the time. So one morning, after a bunch of sleepless nights and wonky thoughts flowing through my mind, the kids wanted to play freeze dance, so they were chanting for me to bring out their beloved boombox. Boom box, boom box, boom box. And in the state of mind that I was in that day, I thought the boombox was actually a bomb. Sometimes ordinary words can feel like codes for something bigger or more important. So I took the boombox to the head of the camp, and I said, "This is dangerous. This shouldn't be anywhere near the kids." And she looked back at me and said, "Drew, I think you need to go home sick." And she called my parents. My parents put me in the car and drove me straight to the hospital. It was the advice they got from the 911 operator.
911.
Nobody knew what was happening to me. I had just turned 18. And happy birthday! Suddenly, I'm the youngest member of the adult psychiatric ward. My experience there was the scariest and most tense of my life. The moment I walk into the psych ward, there's this guy, a former boxer with bad anger issues, working out to music. And you'll never guess what his prized possession was. A boombox! So naturally the staff had to confiscate the stereo because of my big reaction, and that dude pretty much wanted to kill me from that point on. Additionally, there was this woman who thought she was morphing into a cherry blossom tree. She was actually really nice. An older lady who was having a screaming fit during a thunderstorm and demanded an exorcism, and the staff would laugh at us as they would place bets on who would be released next. Like horses at the fairway, place your bets. Let's see who gets out of the loony bin next. I was on an insane diet of antipsychotics and sedatives. After 2 endless weeks, I was finally discharged. And the worst part was, they gave me the wrong medicine, something called Abilify, which made me literally tense and stiff in my muscles, and the wrong diagnosis, a drug-induced psychosis from weed. Obviously, I was incredibly skeptical about my diagnosis. It just didn't feel right. I was confused and utterly exhausted. The bipolar diagnosis process can really suck. Most all doctors need to see at least 2 manic episodes before they can make the determination. Conveniently, I did have another manic episode, right smack in the middle of finals week, my freshman year of college. I'll never forget the day of my diagnosis. The doctor was scribbling data points all over a whiteboard when he finally came to his conclusion, and he underlined it for emphasis. It felt so horrible to be reduced to 3 little words like that. But it landed, and it made more sense than anything that came before. As the weight of the unknown finally melted off of me, I could feel what I was craving so badly, a sense of release. And I cried, and I cried, and I cried. It's shocking, I know, but with the correct diagnosis, you can actually get the right treatment. And I was lucky enough to find a medicine that really worked for me. Lithium. And I still take it every day. Support is also so key. Friends, family, partners, therapy if you can get it. And look, I still have manic episodes, most recently when this asshole got elected. But here's what I can tell you. As long as you work to understand your mental health and stay on top of it, it gets easier. Also, just remember there are so many of us out there who are like you. We're all in this together. Check out these resources if you need help. Thanks for listening to my story.